What's up guys, Brian here representing Neo Overlay Network, bringing you all an update to Simorgh post Banlist. Obviously the hit to Union Carrier kind of killed the last build, but that doesn't really bother me too much because anybody who kind of like saw the things that Union Carrier enabled kind of saw it coming. But nevertheless, it's kind of sucky, but room for innovation was there with Simorgh. It just took a matter of having other things hit to kind of just make it a different build. So with that said, I took out the Mist Valley package and then took out the Union Carriers and obviously took out the Pot of Extravagance to make it much more budget than what it once was. And then yeah, so with that being said, there's still some cards that are a little bit expensive, but yeah, you should probably try to see if you can get your hands on them. If not, try to build it to your liking. But I wanted to give you guys all my input on Simorgh, how it is right now. And for my build, it is a going first build and the numbers have changed. It's still at 40 though. That hasn't changed at all. But yeah, we're still running the level 8s. We're running 2 Simorgh Lord of the Storm. Not going to really get into his effect too much, but when a spell and track card is activated, you can tribute Wind, including himself, a Wind Wing Beast monster at that, to target one card your opponent controls, shuffle it into the deck. So yeah, you know, helps you get rid of some problem cards, and then shuffling them back into the deck can be kind of better than into the graveyard, and especially for the meta right now. And then when a Wing Beast monster you control is destroyed by battle while this card is in your graveyard, you can add it back to your hand. So helping you recur him to helping you make your field spell live again, where you reveal a level 5 or higher winged beast monster to make it 1 less tribute. So instead of 2 tributes, this guy would be 1 tribute once you have your field spell on there. We are running 2 of him because he is kind of good. People do run Crow. And then we have 2 Simorgh Darkness. He is a Foolish Burial target, and then when he's in the when he's face up on the field, he's also a Wind attribute, so it can also be Dark and Wind. And if you tribute summon a Dark or Wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, either or. So that's why he's the Foolish Burial target. And then you know what? Foolish Burial helps bait on Ash, which is nice. And then when a spell trap card effect is activated, you contribute 1 Wing Beast monster to negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. So when a spell trap card is activated, you have a negate thanks to him. So not bad, and he can even tribute himself. So since he treats himself as Wind. And then next up for the last of the big Simorghs, we run 1 Dark Simorgh. He's also Wind when he's face up on the field because of his effect. And then you can banish 1 Dark monster and 1 Wind monster from your graveyard to special summon this card from your hand, or you can banish 1 Dark and 1 Wind monster from your hand to special summon this card from the graveyard. And then while he's face up on the field, your opponent cannot set any cards. So against certain matchups, this is just pretty much, you know, an auto win, I guess, if they don't have the outs. So yeah, pretty good, you know. And then he is searchable thanks to some of your Simorgh cards, which is always nice. Then for the baby birds, what a lot of people like to be saying, and then without a doubt they are the baby birds because they are not as big as their predecessors, I mean as their other counterparts, but they are still good nonetheless. And we're going to start off with level 2 Simorgh Bird at beginning. By far the best bird normal summon in the deck, and the best baby bird Simorgh, because when he is normal summon, he lets you add a Simorgh card from deck to hand except for himself. So that's anything from your repertoire, spell, trap, or monsters. So yeah, pretty good, pretty nice. And then you definitely want to have maximize him at 3. And then all the little birds share the effect where if your opponent has no spell and track cards in your graveyard, no spell and track cards on the field, excuse me, you can special summon them from the graveyard, but they get banished when they leave the field. And then when you use that effect, you are locked into Winged Beast, excuse me. So be aware of that, but still very good and still offers some win conditions, which is always very nice. Which still offers some what's called versatility, which is always very nice. And then for the next up of the baby birds, we run 2 Simorgh Bird at beginning. Pretty much your double summon. When he is normal summon, he lets you normal summon another Simorgh from your hand, and then shares the same effect like I said. He has at 3. And then next up for 3 of some little baby birds, we run 3 Simorgh Bird of Calamity. He has your Fruitless Burial. When he is summoned, he lets you send any Simorgh card from deck to graveyard, so pretty good. And then he shares the other same abilities as the baby birds, like I said. So you want to definitely maximize him. And then we don't run the level 4 one because he is okay, but I don't really like him. It's up to you if you want to run him, go ahead. But if you do, I'd suggest running him at 1. That's just me. And then for some of the extenders, we're going first. We run 2 Primitive Butterfly. If you control no monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then you can increase the level all insect monster you control by 1. So yeah, it kind of helps out for some you know, synchro plays if you really want to go into them. But you don't really want to do that. You want to keep her at level 5 because she is a good target for one of your other monsters, I'd say, if you're able to Monster Reborn her or whatever, because she is level 5. And then 2 Dynatherium, another special summon. So if you have 2 of him if you have both of them in hand, if you open up both copies, you can special summon him and then normal summon the other one. But then he has an effect where if he's special summoned by the special summon from the hand, your opponent can target one level 4 monster in either graveyard, special summon it. So be aware of that. It's usually something you just want to use if you open them up, and then after that it's kind of whatever, I guess. But I like seeing him in hand, so we run 2 Dynatherium because he helps you get into your Link-3 Simorgh, and then we run 2 Cockadoodle-Doo because he is a winged beast that lets Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty, the Link-3, help bring him out during the end phase, and he is a level 5, so he helps you kind of do some pretty interesting synchro plays. And then he can either be level 5 or level 3 depending on the circumstances. So if he's level 5 if there are no monsters on the field, and then you have this card in your hand, he becomes level 3. Or if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card in your hand and he becomes level 4. So his synchro levels kind of vary, which is very nice and very useful for this variant of the deck. And then 1600 attack with 2000 defense is nothing to laugh at. That's a big booty. And if you have it out with the Simorgh field spell, it is even nicer. So he is good, and he doesn't lock you into, you know, special summoning out. He doesn't lock you out from special summoning him because of the Barrier Statue. And speaking of the Barrier Statue, we run 1 Barrier Statue because we're able to bring it out with Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty. Kind of like the only, I don't want to say Garnet in the deck that you don't want to open up. You never want to open it up, but if you do, you can always just, you know, normal summon and hope something, you know, good happens. But yeah, one of those guys. Next up, we run 3 Simorgh Onslaught because it helps you search out all your Simorgh cards just by discarding 1 Winged Beast monster from your hand to add 2 Simorgh monsters with different attributes from your deck to your hand. So it has to be different attributes, so that's why we run the other dark ones to help you, you know, just have a little bit more targets. And it's very good and very searchable. And then you can banish this card from the graveyard. The same turn you sent it to reveal 1 Winged Beast monster in your hand, reduce level by 1 with that name for the rest of this turn, even after they're summoned. So you can make your level 8 Simorgh Darkness and Simorgh Bird of Sovereignty level 7s, Lord of Storm, excuse me, level 7s, and make that permanent. And then if you wanted to go for some interesting rank 7 plays, you can. So that's really up to you. But we do want to maximize this one, Simorgh Onslaught. Really good card. And then next up, at least for this build of the deck, next up we run 3 Elbors of the Sacred Lands of Simorgh. All wind winged beast monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. And then you can reveal 1 level 5 or higher winged winged beast monster in your hand to normal summon it with 1 less tribute. So instead of 2 tributes, it becomes 1 tribute. So which is very nice. So these guys, instead of sacrificing 2 bodies, you are now sacrificing 1 body. So that's always good and always something you wanna, you know, try to do. And then if you control a winged beast monster, when you activate this card, you can immediately normal summon again. So if you are able to open up your little baby bird level 1 right here, you're gonna be able to summon up to normal summon up to 3 or 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, pretty good. And then definitely something you want to search out quicker, sooner rather than later, excuse me. And then we run 3 Harpies Featherstorm because you do control wind monsters for the most part, and then this card is pretty good. Helps buy you some time. And then if to destroy it, you know, you can add 1 Harpies Feather Duster from deck to hand by a card effect. So there is that, helping you search out your godly one-ofs. And then kind of like just a little skill drain for 1 turn. When it's when any activated effects your opponent does monsters, they are negated. So yeah, pretty good. Helps you set control even more, and I like it. And then I was running this at 3 in the last variant, but now it's at 1 because Anti-Spell Fragrance is good, but it's not good for every matchup since a lot of people are just setting traps anyways. You could go for Royal Decree if you really wanted to, if you are comfortable and familiar with your meta and your locals and whatnot. But I'm putting 1 Anti-Spell Fragrance. Sometimes I take this out in general. I just put in some crackdowns. Like I'll bump down the Harpies Featherstorm and throw in some crackdowns or some strikes, and that's in the side deck, you know. So it really comes down to peripheral preference of what you want this to be. It could even be the Simorgh Sky Battle card, which is a really good trap card and it is searchable. But it just comes down to you, honestly, and what you're seeing online and at your locals and what the meta is at your locals. But yeah, you can always bump this down for you can always change that for a crackdown and bump these down for crackdowns too. It really does depend on you and what you want to do with the deck. And then for the 1-0s, we were on godly 1-0s at that. 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Foolish Burial, because you want to send your Simorgh Darkness as soon as possible, and then just bait out some other stuff, or some of your baby Simorghs too. So you just want to bait out some stuff. And if sometimes you want to deck dream, you can't do that. So just get bait. Terraforming, red reboot, because if you do come into the situation where you just get a bunch of back row and you're able to open this up, you know, just pay half your life points, not deal with it, and go for a game. And then in some cases, Simorgh is able to bring out big bodies, so you are able to go for game. So we run the 1 red reboot, 1 Call by the Grave because we don't want to get ashed, and then 1 Harpies Feather Duster since it is somewhat searchable thanks to Heavy Storm Harpies Feather Storm. So you know, it's good. I like it. You still gotta play it. You know, we don't have a lot of back row removal, so this is what we have for it. And then lastly, to round up the 40 card, we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, and then that's kind of sum it up for the 40 card deck. I'm gonna get into the extra deck now. It has changed a lot. Obviously, it's not all, you know, Pot of Extravagance builds, so some variety in it isn't here. But we are still running 3 Simorgh Verta Sovereignty. I just feel you want to run 3 in case, you know, they do happen to out the first one with like a Dark Hole or a Geki or something like that, you know, something, or even a Pancreatops for that matter. But like I said, they're not going to bring out Pancreatops if you're able to get out the Barrier Statue. So yeah, but people are starting to run the Wind Kaiju, the insect one, which is a cool looking one. You know, I like my insect monsters. And then yeah, you want to run 3 of him just in case they out the first one in a cheeky way, and you don't want to have just be left with 1, and it can't happen sometimes, and it kind of sucks. And then we run 2 Mirage because, you know, Mirage is really good in this deck. When a normal summon monster you control is destroyed by battle, you can just, you know, special summon this card from your graveyard, helping you get free link material into either, you know, your freaking Equimax, or could even be not Equimax, Crusadia Abramax, or Equimax, either one of the Crusaders, whichever one you can afford. You know, he is just a good free recurable link, and then he is one of the best links for normal summon decks that are normal summon reliant. And then really good card, glad you got a reprint. And then this is supposed to be the second Harpy Conductor, but it's just going to be the Wind Charmer because, you know, we do have a bunch of wind monsters. And then if you're able to take the Barrier Statue or the Kaiju from your opponent, you know, just to have more big bodies or whatever it may be, you know, whatever the bird up matchup you're going into, you can do that. So this card is really good. I like it. It can always be a second Conductor, and then Harpy Conductor is just good. It just needs 2 wind monsters. And then the reason we have it here is because of Harpy's Featherstorm. Its last effect, if you control a Harpy monster, which is her, you can activate this from the hand. So pretty dirty, your own little imperm in the deck. That's why I want to get the second one. But right now, Wind is just doing the job just fine. And then sometimes you don't even go into the first Harpy Conductor, depending on the matchup. And then yeah, we run those 2 ladies just for the waifus in here, because gotta see some in here. And then really good 2 wind monsters for Simorgh. And then for just generic links, because, you know, we don't really have a lot of good generic wind monsters, you know, Xyz, or I don't know, I can think of at least. But we are going just with the generic Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn. They got reprints, thank God, so you guys can afford these a little bit more, but very nice, helping you go into your Simorgh link a little bit more easily. And then 1 Mech Knight Crusader Abramax. And then this is supposed to be access code, but I don't really have access to him. But if I ever need it, Santos can always just let me borrow it. And then yeah, Mirage is so clutch because he just comes back. And then it's gonna need what, 2 monsters from the extra deck, special summon from the extra deck. Here's one of the 2, so heck yeah. And then if you have your bird up link, you can just go into him and then be chilling. And then pretty good. I like Mech Knight Crusader Abramax, help you push for game. And then Appaloosa, because Appaloosa is still really good, helps you do some negate. Appaloosa, we run her. And then for some of the generic C's, I'm going with number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, just because sometimes online I'm seeing a lot of Xyz decks, like Utopia decks or Time Thieves decks. So if I'm able to Dark Ruler or more of the field, or, you know, kind of keep their Xyz monsters out there, I'm able to bring this guy out, I can do a lot of big damage and then push your game much more easily. So number 15, Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, who got a reprint in maximum gold. And then up to twice per turn during the main phase, you can detach 1 material from this card, target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls, destroy it. And then if it was Xyz, you inflict damage equal to its original attack. So a really good card. Glad he got a reprint, and I like him, so I'm going to be using him for my level 8 rank 8 decks, for my rank 8 monsters. And then another rank 8 to help you protect against that Dark Hole, Red Geki, and Lightning Storm is number 8, 38 Hope Harbinger, which is a free spell negate. Really good card. Hopefully he gets some reprint, but because he is getting a little pricey. And then probably the best rank 8 in the game, Dean Girsu, still to this day. What can I say? Thank God he got a reprint. And then lastly, for the tuner, for the synchro monster, we are going with Borreload Savage Dragon, since we do run a lot of links. And yeah, you know, we are able to cheese them out thanks to Cock-a-doodle-doo being able to be special summoned from the decks, thanks to Simorgh Verta Sovereignty. And then that's gonna do it for the deck profile, guys. That's Simorgh as of right now. At the moment, since the ban list came through, I know Union Carrier kind of killed the infinite negate build, but that doesn't mean the deck necessarily is dead. I mean, it's just gonna take some innovation. Hopefully some people see this and get, you know, a little bit hyped for what Simorgh can do. But with that being said, Simorgh still needs some more support. Hopefully another wave of support comes through, or hopefully, you know, I can get my hands on the Tri-Brigade stuff sooner rather than later. But it's just getting hyped up. It's getting expensive, you know, like with anything in Yu-Gi-Oh. But probably should have picked it up earlier, but I was making other decks. And then Simorgh by itself is still good. Obviously, you know, it's gonna lack in some areas, but if you like the deck enough, like I do, because if you like it enough, you'll find ways to make it better. But that's gonna do it for me, guys. That's it post ban list. Brian with Neo Overlay Network signing out.